Hi, am I live? Hello. Hello, Vikas. Can you hear me? Hear me and see me. Yes. Good morning, Shalini. Can you hear me and see me? Hear me, mainly. Just put hear me. Then I'll get started. Hi, Megha. Okay, you can hear me. Wonderful. So, last time we spoke about the different areas, that we work upon. Do you remember that? And today, what I plan is to build on it. Okay. Good morning, Abhinav. Hi, Neha. Hi, Smriti. Thank you. You can hear me. Awesome. So, shall we just get started with that? The pointers that I have, some of them are too detailed. If you feel it is too detailed, let me know. But I feel if I give you more information, it's never what you call. I mean, it's always helpful. That's how it is. Yes. And I love to go into details with every child, with every discussion, and that helps me. So I'm going to share. I can see that last time you could see my PPT, yes. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start. So, till about last time, it was about what are the areas to work upon. And today I want to talk about, did we talk about the areas? We spoke about the goals, like, what do you do in the mornings? What do you do in the afternoons? What do you do in the evenings? How do you follow that 3-2-1 rule, right? That's what we spoke about. Were you all there who are here? And have you started using any of those things that we discussed last time? Have you made your goals? Like in some of my groups who are doing courses with me, they mentioned that they've made courses. Have you made goals? Have you made goals on the basis of what we discussed last time? Yes, very good. Vikas has started. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to share this now, my screen. And I'll just make it big. Oh, I went far behind. This is where I am. So what I want to do is when I work with any child, yeah, we do work on therapy, like the child goes to therapy, child goes to school, all of it. Yeah. Habibi says all are Indian here. How do you know everybody is Indian? And if everyone is Indian, some people in the south don't understand Hindi, Habibi. So they don't understand Hindi and they request me. A lot of my parents don't understand Hindi. Yes, so allow me to speak in English and let me continue that way. I can do maybe one English, one Hindi that way, but I can't mix. I won't be mixing up both together. Yes, Habibi, I'll be speaking in English here. So I want to talk about the areas. We have areas where we work upon things like morning, afternoon, evening, therapy. We work upon social skills. We work upon activities of daily living. Under activities of daily living, I have not shared my PPT, Neha. Under activities of daily living, what are the things that we would want the child to be able to do? When I say this, I don't mean that, if a child is just 3 years old, I won't want or expect that the child would participate in everything. But passively being done for the child is not what I would recommend. Even if the child is young, I would want that 10 or 20% participation is by the child, even if the child is young. And as the child grows older, I would want more independence in activities of daily living because that's the main crux of everything. Okay, so here it is. Here it is. I think now you can see my screen, right? So under activities of daily living, we want eating so that the diet is managed. When I say diet is managed, I mean that, there are certain things in a child's. So I'll get to diet. Hold on. First, let me talk about it. So eating, dressing, grooming, hygiene, bathing, toileting and potty, understand the concept of private and public, communication. Child is able to communicate what he wants either using a picture exchange communication system or an alternative and augmentative device for communication or speech. Until the work is being done on speech, I would use some or the other way and not wait that he starts speaking. That's when I would ask him to communicate. I may also use a sign language. So the child should be, and we would work towards that the child is able to communicate need based or experience sharing. Length of utterance is how long can the child speak. I want water, 3 letter, or is it just water, or is it give water? Working on clarity and working on sleep. So these are the main things that come under activities of daily living. Now, when I talk about diet, hold on, I'll come back here. I've stopped sharing. Okay, so if you can't see, then I'm coming here. So, when I talk about eating, the diet is managed. It means a lot of kids have food sensitivities. So, managing a diary, having a diary or a journal is very important, where you note down which is the food. How is the potty cycle of the child? Is the child able to pass motions every day, not able to pass? What is the kind of food that your child ate? And then the next day, how was the elimination, the potty cycle? And if there is certain kind of food that your child ate and you feel, oh, that is not suiting the child's body, then working towards it. In my experience, I'm not making it like a blanket term, but generally eliminating gluten, found in wheat or casein in milk. Not for every child. Again, you'll have to meet up a dietitian who can guide you, but eliminating certain foods from your child's system are very helpful. Eating. So I hope, are you aware of eating? What all would come under eating? Eating is where the child's eat on his own, starting with simple dry snacks like chips or biscuits or whatever, that simple dry things, and then moving to meal where the child is able to eat. Even if I break the chapati, put it on the vegetable and keep it, and the child picks it up and eats it by himself. So working towards it. Why am I stressing on it? Because a lot of parents that I know whose kids are like 13, 14, 15, they're still fed. The child doesn't eat on his own. A lot of times child does not sit at one place and eat. So there are a lot of things that go there, and I feel this eating would be a major part of the everyday goal planning. Okay, this is my goal. I'm not going to work on it like, oh, I would have, like, for example, like as I mentioned last time, say brushing is my goal, so I'll work on it, but I would ensure that these other things are also given equal importance. Are you all getting some idea about what am I talking? Is this helpful? Habibi, if you have your questions, and Ishal, I would want you to email to info@autisminsights.com. I'm taking the questions that parents had already sent me, and I have a list of around 62 questions, and I'm taking one at a time. Yes? Okay. Thanks, Vikas, for letting me know that it is helping you. So, eating is the first thing, then comes dressing. Now, I would like to ask you, do you think undressing is easy or wearing is easy? What do you think is easy? What would you work on first? Would you work on removing a t-shirt for your child or wearing a t-shirt for your child? What do you think would you work upon first? Write it in the chat. Let me see. What's the first thing that you work upon? Undressing, exactly. So the first goal would be that, yeah, my child is able to remove his pants, my child is able to remove his t-shirt or whatever. Now, yeah, very good. Removing is something that will come easier. So I'll work on undressing first. So I would have this goal in mind. No, my child has to eat. A lot of parents that I know go to therapy centers. They want the therapist to teach their child how to work on self-help skills. But when those self-help skills are happening in the context, like in the morning, they say it's too late, we have to go to school, oh, it's too rushed up. But that is the time. Activities of daily living have to be done in the context rather than at a therapy center. You get that? I mean, I'm not saying that we don't do it in a therapy center. I worked on a lot of eating skills with kids at my therapy center, but they used to come at 1 o'clock, and that was the time when we worked on eating lunch. So it has to be contextually appropriate. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Just give me, oh, we can't have a raise of hands here. Just say yes if you understand what I mean. ADL is to be done in the context. Yes, great, wonderful. So, eating is done. Dressing, undressing, we spoke about. Eating, dressing, then comes grooming. When I say grooming, it means washing hands on their own, blowing nose. What else would grooming include? Nail cutting, little kids can't do, but if the child is a little older, I'll work towards that also. So, eating, dressing, grooming. What else comes under grooming? Rinsing mouth, all of those things, I would work on it, like as as and when they happen in the context of day-to-day activities. Yes, Nitish, it's even brushing teeth. Yeah, so I would do that. So eating, dressing, grooming, then comes bathing. Now again, another thing, very important question. I have written there in this that it's called the concept of private and public. If a child is just 2, 3, say 3 years old, 2 is too little, 3, 3.5, would you allow your child to undress in a living room? Would you allow that or would you not allow that? If the child is changing, would you allow your child to undress in a living room? Yes or no? You would not do that, exactly. And why would you not do that? Because you want to teach your child, and every time it would be done in the bedroom, the door would be closed, and the child has to understand, oh, this is private behavior. I'm not supposed to undress anywhere else but in this particular place. A lot of parents, and again, I'm not saying you should do this or you shouldn't do that. This is what I feel has helped a lot of kids, because they have to understand the concept of private. Another thing, if your child is too little, 3 year old, 4 year old, or whatever, 3, 2, whatever, would you change your clothes in front of your child? Yes or no? What do you think? Yes or no? Would you change clothes in front of your child? No. Yeah, very important. So the child understands, oh, that's a private behavior for mama. This is my private behavior. The door is always closed. So we are setting up that from a very early, I mean, I tell parents to do it at 3 years also. I'm not teaching them, but then that habit, that the door is closed. When they go to the toilet, a lot of kids remove their pants outside and then they go to the toilet. I wouldn't recommend that also. After a bath, after a bath, when a child comes out, the child would wear the undergarments and then come out, no matter how little the child is. I won't let the child come out like this. So we are working on teaching the concept of private and public from the beginning. Are you all already working on these things? I mean, is this even helpful, or you already know this? Because a lot of my people with whom I used to work, kids were coming out and uh, they didn't wear their clothes. So eating we did, dressing, okay. Then we did what? Grooming, toilet. Now toilet, again, if the child is little, yes, of course, only the door will be closed. You can be inside with your child, of course. But if your child is like 7, 8, 9, by then toilet training is the first thing that I would work upon. Washing themselves after the big job, either with a hand spray, with a mug, with a toilet paper, whatever. I have kids, like 12, 13, and mothers or fathers are washing them after the big job. Not a good idea. Even bathing. These are the times which are very vulnerable. And we want the child to know that it is your body, no one can touch it. Bathing, undressing, and washing after a big job. You get that what I'm trying to convey, right? So these are very, very, very important things, that these are the things that have to be done private, and that's a private behavior. And I make it very explicitly clear to a parent, to a child, that see, mama goes to the toilet, mama keeps the door closed. Papa goes to the toilet, papa keeps the door closed. I'm constantly talking about it. When I talk about it, it doesn't mean that I do it today and the child learns it tomorrow. No. But if you keep doing it, if you keep working on it, you will see that your child will start understanding what we are talking. Yes? Shalini says, I'm already working on it. Wonderful. Supriya says, we're already aware of this. Wonderful. All right, great. And some of you who are not aware maybe are learning more. Yeah. So that's eating, dressing, grooming. What else have I mentioned here? Understanding the concept of toilet and potty. Then comes language, communication. A lot of kids that I know, parents say that they're taking them to a speech therapist. And it's good that the child is going to a speech therapist. Very right, good. And working on speech is important. But till that happens, something has to be used, like a picture exchange or a device or a sign language has to be worked upon for communication. Otherwise, kids get too cranky. Potty trained, I'm exhausted. I have an entire course on potty training, and I don't know what the name is. It says ZN, but the fact is, with our kids, when the the muscles in the front and the back of our tummy, the abdominals and back extensors, when they learn to work together and co-contract, it gives me an awareness, an interoceptive awareness ki, oh, I need to go to the toilet. But when a child is too hypotonic and does not have tone there, and we are not having enough postural control mechanisms, there's so much more that goes along with it. So all of those things are important. I met this child yesterday. He came to see me, and mummy says, go to the toilet. He goes to the toilet, takes his pan down, and he comes out. He thinks that's all that's needed to be done, because he has no awareness of those muscles. Those muscles are all floppy, and so that is something that needs to be worked upon. The what we call as the inner core, the core, the has to be worked upon, so that the awareness starts coming in. Okay, and then there are reflexes around it, so we work around those. Nidhi says, is it okay if they're wrapped in a towel while coming out? I believe they should be in their undergarments when they come out. Yeah. How can we work with inner core? That is something that I can't teach so much in details over a YouTube live. I teach that in my autism intervention class. If you want, you can join that class where I explain it in details. But in this class, and it takes a lot of time, I give a lot of recorded material and I teach, and still there's so much to teach. Yeah. So, toilet and potty, I told you. Concept of private and public, I told you. Then comes, and again, sometimes a child uses specs or something for communication, or like maybe they use sign language or whatever. Then the aim is to ensure that I get the number of things. I mean, I know a lot of parents who are stuck, which means they say, yeah, my child uses Proloquio to go, or they use LAMP or some other AAC. The child has only a vocabulary of 10 words. Vocabulary meaning the child would request for only 10 things. And then the goal would be to move from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100. The number of things that the child asks for has to be increased, and that has to be consciously done by us. So that's another thing that we want to work upon in communication. Once the child is already speaking and communicating, the aim would be to also work on experience sharing, where the child communicates that I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm scared. So this all things would be a part of my day to day, what you say, goals, which I would be aware of. Like how we teach any other child, oh, this is what I have to work upon. Therapy is important, working on sensory systems is important, but these are moments which are therapeutic and teachable moments which we would work upon throughout the day. Got that? All right. Then I go to uh, sleep. This is another important thing, that sleep is extremely important, that the child sleeps on time, wakes up on time. If the child doesn't sleep on time, because if the nighttime sleep is not on time and not qualitative sleep, then the daytime goals that you set for your child would all go haywire. Not just the child's sleep, but your sleep. So this is one big thing, and I want you to take a screenshot of this. What is this you say? Sarat says inner core is long term, consistent goals. Yeah, there's a lot of work. I know Sarat has been working on it for so long. It takes a lot of time, but then with it comes a lot of other things, a lot of improvement, not just in toilet and potty, but in so many other areas, right? Uh, how to teach child what happened in a day, recalling, give me those questions, put them all, as I said, in that info@autisminsights.com. Because after this question today, the next question somebody asked me is how much vestibular input to give. So that is the next question that I'll be taking up for the next class, and I'll take up one at a time. But in this, if I keep getting distracted, I won't be able to give you effectively what all to work upon. Whatever that I shared so far, do you think it's helpful for you to focus, oh, this is my goal, I have to work upon? And this is not when your child is 2. Even when your child is like 17, 18, 19, 20, this goal is going to go on getting more and more and more independent. What is a Zn? Can you tell me how to enroll? It's not called inner core class. It's called autism intervention program. You can check it on Khushi, khushi.net.in. Okay, in for India. Now I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Here. So this is what I spoke about right now. I want you to take a screenshot of this and keep it with you, so that okay, oh, this is what we have to work upon. Now comes functional mobility. Is the child, so this is all, this is all personal. These are things that I'll work upon. And this is another thing that I'll work upon, that the child is able to climb up and down the staircase, climb and hang from jungle gyms. Child can get in and out of the residence. He knows where is my house, if he knows the house and can come back when he's 100, 500 or 1000 meters away. Child can cross a street, can get simple things from a shop by walking or by bicycle, and manages money. So these are other areas that I work upon with kids when I have kind of achieved independence in eating, dressing, grooming, bathing. I'm not saying that I don't work on sensory integration or visual perception or auditory intervention. Yes, those are important, but this is the main chunk of it. You get that what I'm saying, right? So functional mobility is another important goal. A lot of my kids who are very good with academics, they go to school, they do everything, but they don't have friends. They don't know how to go out. They don't know how to come back home. So these are the kinds of things that I would work upon. I remember one parent, she stays in, so in that building there were three big towers, and this boy stayed on the 14th floor, and his friend was on in the other tower on the 30th floor. So she called me and she messaged me and she's like, now my child is independent. He could take the lift, he could go down, he could walk, go to that next tower and go to his friend's house, play and come back. This is all something that also I would work upon. So, yeah, beginning with ADL, activities of daily living, and then expanding it and making it bigger and bigger. Yeah, make sense what I'm saying? Dr. Darpan Rana says, by what age can a child manage money? So I won't start with money initially. Kids hold on to a purse. I mean, depending on what, if it's a boy or a girl, they hold on to things. So I start with maybe just a water bottle. I take a water bottle to a park, and then while coming back, I ensure that I get my water bottle back. So it's about taking care of your belongings. So those are the kinds of things that I would begin with. So these are simple goals, but important ones. They are like your daily living activities, which are so important. Okay. So moving ahead. Okay. Is this making sense and is this helpful? Can I move ahead, with respect to the ADL? Like, what are the areas to work upon with a child? Can I move ahead? Yes. Any questions with related to whatever that I spoke so far with the personal goals, with the functional mobility? No questions? Yes, questions? I can move ahead. All right, let's go ahead and see this. Here. So this is what I mentioned. Now comes activities of daily living. Another one where I say where the child follows commands in the house. I give a one-step command. I give a two-component command. I give a two-step command. What do I mean by that? If I tell a child, in this room, so I have a glass of water here. I'll say, go get the glass of water for me. The child brings the glass of water, one-step command. If I say, get me the bottle and the glass, that becomes a two component command. If I say go to the fridge, take out the bottle and get a glass of water, no, that's a go to the kitchen, open the fridge, get the bottle of water, get a glass of water for me. So he goes to the kitchen, opens, puts the water, brings it to me. That's how I'll work on making the command more and more complex. So initially it starts with following commands in the same room, and then it becomes bigger and bigger. Get that what I'm saying? So, what is this? My child is 5. She progresses in ADL, but after some weeks she forgets. So, Wakas Rahman, I would be coming to the sensory systems that we need to work upon those also. We need to integrate primitive reflexes also. Once you work on those areas, and when my system and my body is able to learn well, I will be able to participate in ADL better. If you keep practicing only ADL and not work on other sensory systems, it does not help also. Okay, so that is also equally important. So when I'm saying this, hold on here. Helps with household chores, watering the plant, or maybe taking the dried clothes, very simple things that a child helps you with. Or maybe the cushions are all over, put them back onto the sofa, whatever. Cleans up after playing or studying. This is what I would encourage every little child to do. After playing, clean up time. Come on, put everything back in place. Then if I take like 8-year, 9-year-olds, prepare simple snacks and juices like, lime juice or kokum sharbat or whatever, that kind. If the child is like 9, 10, 11, I would work on organizes his own room, puts things back in place. Understand safe and unsafe things in the house, which means knives, scissors, and those kinds of things. When the child grows even little older, like 9 again, 8, 9 or so, 7, 7, 8, 9, knows parents' phone number and call or message. These are all the things that I would work upon. I'll build on it. Can send photo location on WhatsApp to parents. Manages time in context of school and class and therapies. Now, what I mean by that is that I had this boy, and he would go down. And I earlier I thought that this is impossible. It can't ever happen. But this child would go down. His mom worked on it. She ensured that he goes down. He plays. And then she said, when it is 7 o'clock, you have to come back home. And he didn't have a watch with him. So he used to ask an auntie, is it 7 o'clock? And his auntie used to say, no, another 10 minutes left. So he used to play down. But before that, and then he would come back home by taking the lift and everything. So, and now this boy is independent enough that he goes to college. He's big boy now. He goes to college. He manages time. So the aim is that we reach to that level of independence with our kids, Got it? What is this? Please answer my query. Najish Javed, I don't see any query. I just see this question that you've mentioned here. Okay. Um, what was I coming to? So if I'm talking about time, it would be like I would start with very simple things like, oh, it's going to be your screen time at 4 o'clock. So the child tells you at 4 o'clock, and I would set a timer. I would put a sticker on the big hand. I have a big detailed class on visual supports where I've explained on how to use visual supports. So I would stick a sticker on the big hand. Okay. So it's assuming it's 3:30 and I've said 4 o'clock is going to be your screen time. So on the big hand would be a sticker, and on the clock on top at 12 would be another sticker. And I say when these stickers match, it will be your screen time. So the child looks at the clock and the hand which is moving and going towards 12 and starts becoming aware of the time. If I'm giving a screen and if I say, oh, it's for 15 minutes, when the big hand comes here, then the screen would be taken away. So those are the kinds of things that I'll start incorporating time. I'm not saying it's 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. No, the child has to understand the concept of passage of time. So that's what we work upon initially. Yes. Okay. Then what have I written here? This is another thing. Let me share this. So that was about ADL, huh? ADL. Manu Sharma says, at what age should we teach clock? I'm not teaching clock. I'm teaching them in 10 minutes it'll be done. Also, so right now I don't have it over here. Even those sand timers, 5 minute sand timers you get. You play for 5 minutes and then it's finished. So I'm teaching the concept of time, passage of time. That's what I'm teaching. I remember, teaching this to kids as young as, like, if they can, even if they can't understand the concept of numbers, I used to just say the sticker matches, it's time to finish playing, or that would be the time that you get to play. So that's how I used to work upon with kids as young as 3 years, 3, 4, depending again on the level of the child. If the child is even looking at me, not looking at me, understanding, not understanding, a lot of those factors would also come into play. Now comes, so those are areas. Now comes sensory. So is the child aware of the sensory input? Is the child able to process the sensory input? And this is where I would work on tactile system, vestibular system. The main system is my vestibular system, the proprioceptive system. So I mainly work on the vestibular, proprioceptive, tactile, and sensory processing. Once these things are in place, a lot of participation in ADL starts getting independent. I'll also work on smell, taste, auditory, visual, and interoception. So these are the other areas. So when I'm working with my child, my focus would be what? Oh, am I taking care of ADL? Okay, this is where I am. Oh, sensory systems, am I working on? Okay. So last time we did morning, afternoon, evening. Right now it's like big buckets. Oh, ADL. Oh, sensory system. Yeah. Is this helpful? Are you getting how to work on with your goals, how to set goals? Like, one from the sensory system, I would work on vestibular, just vestibular. If my vestibular processing is better, I work on the inner core. I work on developmental movement patterns. But ADL, lifelong, it will keep continuing. Are you all there with me? Are you all there with me? Are you getting what I'm telling you? Yes. Let me see. I don't see any chat, any reply here. Okay, you're there. I can see you. And now I'm coming to, so that's my sensory system, okay, that I spoke about. Then in my sensory system also comes perceptual processing. This is too detailed. I'll just try, you could just take a screenshot of perceptual processing. Stereognosis is when a child holds things in the hand, does he know if it's a pencil or it's a pen without looking? Kinesthesia, pain response, body scheme, right left discrimination. So these are a lot of things that I won't get into details, but this all would come under sensory system, and a therapist can guide you how to work on it. So if I take this part and this part, this would be one area that I would work upon. If I go behind, then activities of daily living is one activity. Okay, now come to neuromuscular skeletal. Now, what are the reflexes? How is the range of motion? What is the muscle tone? Is the strength of the muscle good? Is the child able to endure? Is the child able to do one activity for longer time? Postural control, postural alignment, soft tissue integrity. Now, when I say this, when I talk about neuromuscular skeletal, so now a child is with me, I'm working on, okay, ADL. Okay, sensory systems. Okay, I'm also working on muscle tone. You get that? So I'm not working on, oh my God, so much to work upon. No, I know that I'm working on these three main chunks. Yeah. When you are working at home and you're setting your goals, you check if it's falling into these buckets and are you able to do it in that manner. Okay. And then, hold on. Then comes motor, gross motor coordination, crossing the midline. Laterality is if your child knows the right hand and the left hand. Bilateral integration, this would be all complex higher level goals. Once I've worked on the sensory system, then I work on the motor system. Actually they work together. Motor control, praxis, fine motor, oral motor. But if these sensory systems are not able to take the information well, which means if their vestibular system is not able to process, this is all what comes under sensory integration. If these systems are not working well, then the motor part of it would not be very good and very well developed. So my focus would be sensory systems. Then comes cognition. Like when I'm doing an activity, say a sitting task, what is the level of arousal? Is the child too hyperactive or is the child too dull? Is the child orienting to the activity? Recognition, is the child recognizing whatever has been given? What is the attention span? Can the child start an activity on his own, end the activity on his own? How is the child's memory? Can the child sequence? Can the child categorize? Can the child form concepts? This is all that I would work upon in a sitting session when I'm doing a sitting. You know what when I talk about sitting session, meaning a tabletop session where I would say, okay, let's do matching. And the child does matching. Okay, let's do block imitation or whatever. So that's where I would work on attention. Is the child initiating on his own? So those are all the broader categories that I would work upon. Yeah. And then, one second. So, and then comes psychological. How, what are the child's values, interests? What is the child and self concept? What does the child believe about himself? A lot of kids just listen to everything that's said, and there are some kids who don't listen. They always want to defy. So, what does the child feel about himself physically, emotionally, and the sexual self? This is for kids who grow up and they're old enough. So, working on psychological background. Then comes social. I this would be a little more for elder kids who are like in school, you know, like if I would say senior KG, is does the child understand his role? How is the conduct? Does the child know how to behave with other friends? How are the interpersonal skills? Is the child able to express himself in that group? Then coping skills. What happens if there are transitions? So in the school, if there is something that changes, can the child cope on his own? How is the time management? This is all for elder boys and girls. Huh? Like I would say school, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, you know, that kind of a level. And this is all that will keep coming up. And I would work on these things. So time management. How is the child planning and participating in a balance of self-care? We already spoke in details. Work is schoolwork, homework, leisure is free time, and rest activities. How is the child effectively able to manage the time? And this is what would be the work that we do. I mean, we really work on a lot on these kinds of things. Self control, you know, if I'm angry about something, can I manage that? That's something similar to the coping skill. So I would work on all of these areas. Now, this is what I wanted to work upon. When I'm working on social skills, play and task environment should be populated with peers. Am I taking my child to a park where there are a lot of other kids? Okay. And is my child comfortable being around with those kids? Social skills learning should be a part of the task and play environment. Program should be conducted within natural childhood activities dominated. So it should all happen in the context of play, play, play. A child comes to your house, you go to that child's house, you meet up in a park, but the child gets that happening. What happens, you know, many a times is like, oh, we are doing therapy, we are working on sensory, sensory, sensory. And when we keep talking about sensory integration, self-help skills take a backseat, social skills take a backseat. And I feel social skills, okay, I just take my child to a park. He may climb on the jungle gym. Okay, great. That'll help him with coordination. Doesn't want to climb, gets comfortable with kids around. Okay, not a problem. So we are working on these sub skills one at a time. And you could pick up only one to begin with. Okay, he goes to a park and my child is comfortable with other kids around. Even that much is enough. And that may also take like 6-8 months with some kids. In some kids, within a month, they are comfortable. If they are with the other kids coping, if the other child tells you something, you have to learn to receive it or stand up for yourself. Those are the other kinds of skills that I would work upon. Yeah. How to work, what are the steps to work with the self-help skills? How to work, I would get into backward chaining. We just spoke about that. We do undressing first, yeah. That is about ADL. And so let me get into those details also. Can I put this down, Purnima, as a query, and I would put them as how to work on. Can you mail this so that it stays in my head? How to work on self-help skills, I would do that. Yeah. uh, where did that question go away? Okay, Purnima, would you do that? Yeah. Social skills, can you explain? I'm getting into more of social skills here. Hold on. I'll just finish this little thing because I don't want to take this in the next YouTube live. I want to take what is vestibular, how much to give. Now, here, if your child is a preschooler, little child, then what is it that the child should be able to do? Child should be able to understand the perspective of the other person, have the problem solving ability, have the communication skills, to be able to communicate what he wants, proximity to others and comfortable with others. Like, this is the first thing that I should have put this first, that the child is comfortable with others in the same environment. Social initiation matlab the child initiates the communication regarding and responding to others. The child responds if somebody says, hey, come, let's play. So the child may not talk, but will go and play. Eye contact, giving positive attention, the child can just smile or whatever, sharing and compromising, showing affection and acceptance and affection. These are the main chunks that I would work upon, and I can just work with one thing at a time. Okay, my child is comfortable with others. Okay, this is all that's happening. Now I've been working on this. Oh, now my child is happy and wants to go to that place, so that is initiation. So I'm just working on two things at a time. I am already working on, say, sensory integration, and the eye contact would come naturally, automatically. And then when this being around others and being, comfortable, initiating socially comes in, then I would work on communication, that the child is talking, sharing what he wants. So these are the sub parts of it which I would work upon. Like, so I take one at a time, and I work on one at a time. Yeah. uh, is this clear? Are you getting what my points are? So I'm not going to work on everything. No, just one thing. My child is comfortable. Okay, now my child is initiating. Okay, now somebody calls my child and my child responds. Wonderful. So I do like one at a time. Yes. Awesome. Now I'm going to go to the elder ones, the little, like, so that was preschool. And if I go to older children, so they should know how to join a group. They have to know being accepted. They have to know that are they being accepted or not. They have to learn to pick up those cues, the non-verbal cues, that they don't want you to be a part of the group, or they want you to be a part of the group. The child should be able to do this, and all this will happen when you worked on all this year. This will automatically transition over here. So the child would be able to give support, will be able to pay attention to others, would ask and answer questions, would go and greet and help friends, share and play cooperatively, share his toys. Now, again, sharing toys would come over here when your child is comfortable as a younger little one, and you're giving those opportunities, and your child is comfortable sharing toys over here, allowing them in your space, then this sharing and playing cooperatively starts coming. If the other child does well, is a very good, yeah, you can do that kind of a thing would start coming up. Accept authority, coping with conflict. Kids fight with each other a lot. They have a lot of fights. So how do they cope with conflict? Engaging in independent work, performing before others, and monitoring the quality of work. A lot of my kids and parents who followed these things, when I used to tell them, ki, take your kids out, and they did take them. Initially, yeah, they were like lots of fights. Kids didn't have that much communication. The other kid took advantage. Then this child got hurt matlab psychologically, felt very bad, didn't go down to play for a few days. So all of it would happen. But that is how the child would get prepared. My whole point when I'm sharing all of this is that my aim is not just that I work on sensory integration. I just do sitting task. That is important, but I give equal importance to the self-help skills. I give equal importance to the social and emotional and communication skills. You get that what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is all that I wanted to share. the areas somebody had asked me what all to work upon. So these were some of the areas. I hope this was helpful. Like sensory motor is one. Sitting tasks, there were areas. ADL, that is activities of daily living. Social emotional. So this is all that I wanted to talk about. Sima Fareen says, can you give me a demo example? What I don't understand, demo examples means what exactly do you want? And if you need more details on this, email me. info@autisminsights.com. Autism is AWE. Let me put it down. Email me. I will get into more details of these things, and we can talk about it. So autisminsights.com. Send me your questions here. My staff will compile it and send it to me, and I can get into details of these things. Okay. So that's about it. I don't know if you're aware, I have my app coming up on 15th of April. And if you're not yet registered, you can go on autisminsights.com, register, and you can get that 1 month of what you call subscription free, so that you can understand what I'm doing in the app. So that was another thing that I wanted to share. What is this? More than child? Kalika, I can't read this. Oopsie. More than child? Ouch. I am psychologically hurt. Yeah, correct, Yasha. So sometimes it's like we feel, oh God, they're doing this to my child. Oh God, they're bullying my child. There's a lot that would happen. But the fact is, if you don't expose your child outdoors at this young age, then later when they enter, because see, they have to enter into the society, they have to stay with kids. They can't be with you. They will be with other kids, other peers. The faster we start introducing them to that world and protecting them, taking care of them, equipping them with skills, the easier it would be to transition and to get more independent later on. Yes? Do you see kids virtually? I'm lost and tired and needs. I don't see kids virtually. I offer my services through my trainings. So I'm not seeing kids virtually. My team does that. You can email, they can see you. Okay? Are the details are discussed in intervention course? I didn't understand your question, Manu. So email me. I will take those questions. So I hope this was helpful, and I will come again next Saturday at 10 o'clock. And the question that one parent has shared is how much vestibular input to give to my child. That is what I would be discussing, and I would go into depth with that particular question. And after that, we'll see what all questions are there, and I'll go one at a time. Whatever that you send today, I'll keep adding them up, and let's see how long I want to come online. I'll do this as long as I'm enjoying, and as long as you are benefiting. Yes. All righty. Thank you. Bye bye. Before you go, I wanted you to know about my app, autisminsights.com. Autism with an AWE. And in this app, what do you get? You get a 14-day free trial period to the foundation level. You get daily insights from my working for the last 23 years. What you see right now on YouTube, you get to meet me, hear me every day. You get my audio books, you get my recorded courses, you get my master classes. There's so much waiting for you. And I want you to experience it and grab that 14-day free trial for yourself.